Ed Schultz and commentary. Thanks for the listen. And a reminder that this audio has video to it at WeGotEd.com, RawStory.com, and RingOfFireRadio.com. The folks at Ring of Fire, their website is on fire. Lots of great content there. All right. So what we're coming to the conclusion here is that we are expected to believe as consumers and as American citizens, taxpayers, that all of a sudden Paul Ryan is going to bring us to a point that they're going to be able to navigate through 280 amendments and get a highway bill of $325 billion. I'll tell you what, I got to buy a ticket to this one. I don't mean to be, skeptical beyond, but I think the realistic conversation here is understand what their mission is in totality. And this open process could quickly turn into, hey, it's my way or the highway. So let's go to Donna Edwards, Congresswoman from Maryland, who sits on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. Congresswoman, good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Good morning. What do you think? Are you optimistic? Do you think this can work? Do you think the $325 billion is a realistic number to do what we haven't done in this country for years, and that's address a crumbling infrastructure? Your take on all of that?
Well, I think it's a good start. Let me just say this. I actually do believe that we're going to be able to navigate through all of these, dozens and dozens and dozens of amendments. We went through quite a number of them last night, including one of mine that was actually accepted by the majority.
And that is?
And it was to change the way we're looking at stormwater impacts so we do it early in the process, and it actually ends up saving us a lot of money. We have a lot of stormwater runoff that really jeopardizes our infrastructure, and this would allow us to look at those issues early in the process to make sure that we can mitigate them and save taxpayers a little bit of money, maybe build some more infrastructure.
Okay. So early on, they accepted an amendment from Congresswoman Donna Edwards. Maybe this is different. What do you think?
Well, Ed, I'll tell you, I think that, look, it's a 6-year authorization. It only has a couple of years of funding, so I'm skeptical about that.
It's 3 years of funding and a 6-year plan, right?
That's right. But we do have a 6-year plan, which is more than we've had in a really long time, and our states, our governors, our legislature need to know that they have a 6-year authorization because then it helps to do the big stuff. Otherwise you're just left with doing a whole bunch of small stuff in the infrastructure, and we need to do big things in this country and put people back to work. But
here's the scary thing, Congresswoman. No child left behind. We were told that the federal money was going to be coming to the local school districts some 15 years ago. It never happened. And so this is the hard work and the tough decisions to be made, that you could trust the Republicans and this conservative leadership that, we'll get there the final 3 years and make it happen. Isn't this somewhat of a leap of faith?
Well, no, I don't trust the Republicans. What I say is let's get these couple of years done, take back the House, make sure that we have control of the Senate and the White House, and get a real infrastructure bill done.
Okay. All right. So and I think that's realistic because we've grossly underfunded infrastructure in this country for a long time. And why has this been such a fight? This never used to be a fight.
Well, you're right, Ed. This is horrible because we know that we have a couple of $1 trillion in terms of an infrastructure deficit. That is all the infrastructure that needs to be improved, and we can see all around us, the roads, bridges. In fact, there's a road that goes through an overpass in my district where a piece of cement fell from the road and hit a woman in a car.
Yeah.
It's fallen apart, and so we know that when you invest $1 billion in infrastructure, you create about 35,000 jobs all across the income stream. So there's no downside to doing what I think is an investment. Unfortunately, we have some members of Congress, some Republicans, who actually believe that it's an expenditure. And instead, they should be looking at it as an investment because it actually pays back our economy, puts people back to work.
All right. Donna Edwards, great to have you with us. I want to ask you one question. You got a big primary fight coming up this spring in Maryland. How's the Senate race looking? What do you think? Can you win this, and what's the latest polling?
I can win it if progressives across the country stand behind me. I am the progressive candidate in the race. I'm running in a Democratic primary to defeat somebody who is, an establishment guy.
And that's Chris Van Hollen?
It's Chris Van Hollen. He's totally out of the establishment. I'm running as a progressive, an unapologetic progressive, so that we can do the things that we need to do to improve our economy, protect Social Security and Medicare, and get people back to work. And if people around the country support me, I will win this race. And in fact, the Washington Post came out with a poll just a couple of weeks ago that showed that I'm 10 points ahead, but I got to raise the money that it takes to do this.
Okay. Got to ask you, Trans-Pacific Partnership, if you are the progressive you say you are, then you would be against that, correct?
Well, not only am I against it, but I've been on the whip team in the Congress trying to get other Democrats to be where we are in terms of stopping this thing. I mean, I think it's going to that deal that encompasses 40% of the world's economy, trades away American jobs with countries that are not playing fair ball, is real. I mean, it's just sort of the icing on the cake from NAFTA. That will just ship more jobs overseas. Absolutely, we need to stop this thing. It's a bad idea. Start over, do bilateral deals that respect labor and workers' rights, that respect the right to organize, that respect our laws here in the United States protecting the environment. And this deal doesn't do that.
Okay. Donna Edwards speaking with clarity here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Congresswoman, all the best. We'll check in again. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You bet. All right. I'm broadcasting from a state that had a bridge fall down in 2007 and 13 people were killed. And so when we hear about bridges falling, it is a life and death issue. I was in Minneapolis a few months ago, and I did an interview with R.T. Rybach, who was the mayor of Minneapolis at the time. And he will tell you in this short interview just how many promises were made from politicians after that horrific event and how many were kept. Here it is.
But we were really blessed because people from all over the country and every political leader of both parties came here and gave us some very comforting assurance that they would do what it takes to make sure this never happened again, that we would actually take care of infrastructure in this country. So we were really blessed then, and frankly, to hear that we're still in this debate is pretty incredibly disheartening. It makes me feel like collectively we have the attention span of a tsetse fly. There was a 3-day window in which this entire country and world were really focused on the idea that the sagging infrastructure and crumbling, literally, infrastructure of this country needed to be focused on. And then, a tornado somewhere else, a hurricane somewhere there, led to a whole other conversation. I like to think that we have the attention span that goes more than a news cycle, and especially when there are lives at stake. Especially
R.T. Rybach from Minneapolis.